good morning, good afternoon and good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of this tube. Hello! Today, it's time for the full review on the Blackstar Fly III! Anyway, before I start playing through it, I'm just going to go through the features on the top panel. So, let's start here. First, well, that's where your guitar goes in, obviously. First dial you get to is a gain. Kind of gain level, so that's, you know, amount of distortion you want on the clean or the dirty channel. Next one is your overall volume. Next one is the ISF EQ. All the way to the left on 0 is more of a brighter kind of a brash kind of sound. Very bright. And as you kind of turn it all the way to the right, you're going to get more of like a low end, a bit more of a darker kind of sound. So so that's that dial. And then you've got your delay time here, so the time of the delay, and the up here, this little dial here, that's the delay level, so that's how loud you want the repeats to be. Power on, MP3 line in there, so you can run music through it, backing tracks when you're playing along, and that's an emulated out for recording, and that's also your headphone socket. It's also it's mini jack, so get a tiny jack for it. On the back you've got power there, so you can run it, there's your battery compartment, full of 6 beastie batteries. That's mains power, and that's the external cab socket there. So it's pretty, pretty straightforward. So yeah, that's basically that. So let's get into some sounds. I'm going to talk about clean channel first, then the dirty channel, and then we'll talk about the inbuilt delay as well. Unfortunately, I'm not able to demonstrate music through this or recording through this at this point in time, but there are tons of videos on YouTube with other people doing that. So yes, so I'm just going to focus on mainly the amp function of this today. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so clean channel on the Blackstar Fly III. Move back a bit. I really like the clean channel. I really like the clean channel on this amp. It sounds great. At this point in time, this is the setting I normally kind of run it at, is I've got the gain all the way up, level all the way up, and the ISF all the way up on 10. I've got the delay level at 12 o'clock, and I've got the delay time at 1 o'clock, and it just gives you this really clean but not clean sound. It's a very responsive sound as well. It really kind of goes through how you play. If you play really lightly and then start building up intensity, it really goes to it. Which is really nice. It's really cool, and I really like that. Gain wise, all the way, so this is the gain dial all the way, that's on 0, so this is a quarter. So that's very clean, very quiet. That's like, late night. That's like 1 o'clock in the morning bedroom practice, that. Or hotel practice, or wherever you might be where there might be people. Halfway gives you this. Again, really super clean. Again, very nice kind of sound. 3/4 gives you a bit more bite. And my favourite, for whack. You can actually kind of get away with doing this. Which I really like. That makes me very happy. So that's the gain on the clean channel. So moving on to the level, the volume. How quiet does this thing go? Well, you heard it really quiet with the gain, and I would say if you want to get it quiet, use the gain, because the volume on kind of breakthrough on a quarter, it's there, but it doesn't sound as good as using the gain as a volume, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's not bad, but I'd definitely feel like, you know, the cleaner kind of thing of a gain. But you know, if you still want a bit more bite, you know, if you use the volume. So that was on a quarter. This is half. This is where the amp starts to really come into it. I think the volumes really starts to come into its own, so to say. That's nice. That's a really nice, really quiet level with a really great sound. 3/4 now. This is nice. This is a nice level. Obviously, all the way up, it gives you that, you know, that ability to kind of like jam along with somebody with an acoustic guitar, definitely. So the volume's really good. I'd say a quarter. If you're using anything below half, I would say use the gain more as a volume. But anything above kind of like, you know, a half definitely is where you kind of like, you know, you can use the volume. So ISF. The EQ, so to say. So let's put, this is all the way on 0, so this is all the way to the left at this point in time. This is very, very bright. And that's very bright for me. I don't particularly like that sound like at all. It's just a bit too much for me. So halfway, so this is on straight up at 12 o'clock. You can hear it starting to get a little bit darker, and then all the way up, it gives you that sound I had at the beginning. I think I'm in love with, because that's for a tiny little amp like that sounds amazing. So that's the ISF, and I say if I do sweep it, you kind of can hear it. If I just kind of like drone a string, you kind of hear it get darker. So this is it all the way over on 0. So you can hear it; it gets a lot darker. So that's basically a clean channel, really. It's very usable, extremely usable sound, really good. And I say, having that delay built in as well, which some of these little amps don't have, makes it sound less boxy and less tinny and small. I mean, when you're playing through something like this, you've got to kind of like get into the mindset of it's not going to sound huge because it's only a little 6-inch speaker, and you know it's a plastic housing, so it's not gonna have a resonance of like a 10-inch speaker of 30-watt amp. So I mean, it's only 3 watts as well. But for 3 watts, and for what it is, I'll take it. It sounds great. Okay, so let's move on to the gain channel, distortion channel now, because I'm still undecided on this one. So let's go on to that one. Okay, so switched over to the distortion channel now, the Blackstar Fly III, and this sound. It's a bit too nasty for my taste. I mean, but playing through it, I've definitely warmed a lot more to the clean channel than I have the distortion sound. I find it a little bit too nasty. And so that's the EQ exactly the same, because it's a shared EQ on both channels. So I've got everything on 10 basically, apart from the delay, which is set like, you know, to the setting out at the beginning. What I've been finding myself doing though is I've turned my tone down to kind of halfway on the neck pickup, and it just darkens it off a little bit and makes it sound a little bit more pleasant, because I do feel that mean, it's usable, but it's, I don't know, it's not as pleasing as this. So you can hear the difference. I just wish that distortion channel was... I wish you had a bit more control over the ISF to make it like a little bit darker, because it is possible to do it. I just wish it was a little bit, you know, a little bit darker on the distortion channel. For me, definitely, because I do prefer darker sounds, and it is a little bit too bright. So I don't particularly get on with the distortion channel that much, but it's still usable. It's still a good sound, and it cleans up really nicely. So it is nice. It's nice. So yeah, let me get into the gain. Let me show you the gain. What the gain, you know, how what we've got on tap, so to say. Okay, so gain. Usual thing. I'm going to start at a quarter because 0 is obviously off. So this is the gain on distortion channel, the lowest setting. It's kind of also almost AC/DC-esque. Which is, you know, it's a great sound, but it's not too far off the clean channel there. So, moving up to half now. So this is halfway. That's nice. 3/4, get into kind of like big territory. And then all the way up gives you... full gain. With single coils there isn't a great deal. With humbuckers you obviously get more, but it's enough. Okay, so moving on to volume now. So this is the volume at 1/4. And again, it does this thing when it's all the way down. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick it up, but it does sound really muddy, very kind of muffled at that low level. So when you get up to like half, that's where the volume starts to come into its own. Sounds really nice. Again, that's like, you know, real late night practicing. That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. You're not going to annoy anybody with that. So this is now 3/4. Again, really, really nice level, and I say all the way up gives you that kind of ability to kind of jam along with somebody, you know, with acoustic guitar, easy out. So that's really cool, awesome again. So ISF now, all the way over on 0, again, really brash. Yeah, that doesn't appeal to me at all. I'm sure it will some people out there. This is halfway. up, gives you that real kind of a bit more darker. Like I said, I just wish the ISF would go a little bit further and make it a little bit more darker. But it's still really usable. I mean, I say I do love it when everything's on 10. I just think the clean channel and distortion channel are just like, they're you know, it just sounds great. It really does sound really nice. I say I do prefer the clean channel to the distortion channel. I find the distortion channel a bit brash. Like I said, I just wish that ISF would go a little bit further. It seems to be it's like mega bright, kind of bright. There's no kind of option really, which I think I would have preferred for a little bit darker. I say just like I say, just rolling the tone off on your guitar a little bit instead of having this. Instead you can have it like this, which would make that sound would be a lot more appealing to me. As I just do find that a little bit too bright for my ear, but it's still usable. I'm not saying it's rubbish in any way, shape or form, because it definitely isn't. And I've got to say before I go on to delay, this thing feels built well. Everything, like the dials feel good, the switches feel good, everything feels built well. And I say if you look after it, I'm sure it'll give you many years of service. And I say having been battery powered and having the external speaker cab as well, it's just that's really, really cool. I say 3 watts as well, so it's definitely loud enough to be messing around with. So let's move on to delay now, because the delay I think is the standout feature on this to make it sound really cool. So let's talk about the delay. Okay, so I've gone back to the clean channel to show the delay, because I really do feel this is the thing that makes it sound, well, it definitely sets it apart from all other little weenie little amps like this, and it also just gives it more body. So if I turn that off, it still sounds great, but I say when you add the delay in, say I put it about halfway, I don't know, it just seems to add just an extra depth to it, which I say a lot of these small amps don't have. Like some of the others, they just don't. I feel that they would all benefit from a reverb or a delay like this, and I say it's an emulated tape echo as well, so you can do really cool, fun sounds with it. Who doesn't want that sound? I mean, that's ridiculously fun. That's so cool. Anyway, let's move on to let's talk about delay time. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll turn the delay level all the way up. So this is the time all the way down on 0, and it gives you this kind of doubling effect. It's not quite enough for a slap back, but it's definitely more of a kind of a doubled kind of guitar. About a quarter is where it starts to kind of get a bit more of a slap back. It really does kind of have that real cool rockabilly thing about it, if you will. So this is halfway now. And I say, being a tape echo, those repeats are duller, and I've really, again, I think that helps with just giving it a bit more body. So 3/4. Really cool, and all the way. So there's a lot of delay in there, and I say the volume differs as well. So if I put it to kind of like my favourite setting, which is kind of like 1 o'clock, So this is the volume, this is about the delay at all. A quarter, very subtle. Half is where I really like it. It just seems to sit really nicely at half. 3/4 on the delay level. And then all the way up. So it gives you quite a lot. It works on the distortion really nicely as well. So I've put the delay level back at half, but on a 1 o'clock. I turned my tone down there, but I say that delay is awesome, and I say being a tape echo as well. I mean that's an inspired choice. That really is cool. Instead of just a bog standard digital delay, it's really cool, and I say I love that sound. I could just play with that all day. I'd be quite happy playing that all day. Okay. So that's all the features of the Blackstar Fly, and I say it feels built so well. So I'm going to switch over now to Les Paul and play through the clean channel and the distortion channel with my Les Paul to let you hear it with humbuckers. So, quick guitar change. Well, maybe quick, hopefully quick. Ooh! Okay, so switched over to my Peter Green vintage V100 lemon drop. So this is the clean channel. It gives you that classic rock thing with humbuckers. Really awesome sound. That's just classic rock. That is awesome. That's just the clean channel of everything kind of cranked. So if I roll back again a bit, you do get it cleaner. So that's gain at a half, gain at 3/4, gain at full. So it's super cool, it really is. And I say, if you roll back, if you put the ISF back to 0 with humbuckers, it does brighten up. I've got to say too, this amp does feel a lot more, it does feel voiced more for humbuckers than it does single coils, I've got to say. I mean, that's just, again, personal observation. With single coils, it's very kind of bright, but it does feel like this is kind of voiced more with humbuckers in mind. Again, I could be totally wrong, but that's kind of the impression I get. Everything just seems to work a little bit more comfortable to kind of sound levels with humbuckers. So moving on to distortion. It does seem, yeah, like I say, it does seem to be a bit more it seems to like humbuckers a lot more than it does cylinder coils, but it's not to say the cylinder coil sound is rubbish, because it's definitely not. But I just gotta say, through what I can hear here right now, it definitely seems to prefer the humbuckers. So, yeah, I've got to say, it's a great little amp. It really is a great little amp, and it definitely has warmed. I've definitely warmed to it. When I first got it, I wasn't quite sure what I thought. I say, being quite bright, without, you know, especially on the distortion channel, I immediately loved the clean channel. It was the distortion channel I had difficulty kind of like getting used to. But as I once I started kind of playing around with it and, you know, getting used to it and, you know, messing around with the tones on my guitar a bit more, I definitely like preferred it more. But it's a great little amp. I can't really recommend it enough for late night practicing or anything like that. It's just great. It does sound good. It really does sound good, and it's definitely grown on me, which I'm very happy about, because I really wanted to like it, and I'm happy to say I do. Very, very cool little amp. Say, Blackstar Fly 3, very, very cool little 3 watt practice amp, and I say very portable as well. Very cool. Hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, this is awesome. This is just awesome. I'm a bit lost for words. Anyway, thank you very much, and I'll see you again for another video very soon. Goodbye now.